Yes. So, everybody, a warm welcome to this session. And today's session is all about being childlike. So, just being childlike, what exactly does it mean? We've all been there. And at that point, when we were there, then we were in the awareness of unconditional love. Unconditional love, not for anybody, not even for the mother. We didn't feel unconditional love for the mother because we knew that's where our next meal is coming from. So that becomes a condition. I give you love and you give me the next meal. You change my diaper. So, no, that's not the unconditional love that we are talking about. This is unconditional love without any conditions attached, which the child feels for who? The child feels for itself. And why do I say that the child feels for itself? Not even the child, but the baby feels it for itself. Why and how? Because when it cries, it doesn't care whether it's 2 a.m. in the morning and that the mother hasn't slept at all for 15 hours and she's tired and she needs to sleep. No, the baby has no guilt, the baby has no shame, the baby is completely happy to bawl and then to wake up the mother and basically to get all of its work done with no guilt, no shame, nothing. So that is why I call this the phase of unconditional love for the self. When you understand and you recognize that you are the most important person for yourself and you want things done for you, and when you do it, see, you can probably want the same thing to be done for you even right now. But right now, when you have so many conditions attached and you have so many judgments attached to yourself and to others, then the minute you do something for another, or the minute somebody else does something for you, then you immediately have your attachments in there. If it's a child doing, then you will feel attached over there. If it's somebody who's a stranger, then there's immediately mistrust in the mind. Why is this person doing this for me? What is it that I have to do in return? Or else you feel it's a transaction. If somebody does something for you, then immediately you feel obligated that you must do something for them in return. And as soon as that is over, then only the transaction will be closed. So we always go with feelings attached to it, which are not of unconditional love. But when we are a child, we are most happy for to have anybody do anything for us, and we have no reason to do anything for them. And that's why unconditional love for the self. So today, what stops you from being that unconditional to yourself? As you grow up, you've already come over here, you've come on earth to experience some experiences of some emotions. Where are those emotions coming from? Of course, from the million years that you've already lived before. You have filters in front of you, and you have come here to grow those experiences even more. How do you start to grow those experiences? By taking birth in a family, by being in a place where those experiences can be received by you. So, what happens as you start to grow? You will receive those conditionings that are necessary for you to experience. So, whether it is the conditioning of good and bad, whether it is conditioning of guilt, whether it is to say that you are small, you are an idiot, you are intelligent, whatever it is, you are loved, you are not loved, you are smaller than the others, you are less than the others, whatever experiences you have come to receive will start to be provided to you by all those actors who are around you. So, what happens then to us as we start to gain those experiences? We become less and less. This understanding of unconditional love that we are starts to get buried deeper and deeper under layers of conditionality. So, how do we do that? And I was just talking in the morning session as well, that every child already comes with the knowing that they are Shiva. But that knowing is buried under years of filtered information. And so, as we come to receive more and more of conditionings, more and more of self hate, self loathe, self as we cut ourselves down to just this body, and we do not know how to experience our godliness. And that is that only one phase when we experience it for ourselves and are able to show it to the others as well. The entire world loves babies. Well, most of them do love babies. And why is that? Because through a baby, what is the baby showing you? You smile at the baby smiles back. Most of the time, the baby smiles back. What is that baby showing you in that minute? It is showing you the unconditional love that you hold for yourself. It's just that small, tiny little part of unconditional love that you hold for yourself that the baby is showing you. But it's in love with itself, but it's also being an actor for you and showing you unconditional love. You smile, it smiles. You are sad, most of the babies will recognize that, that you are sad or you are not well, and they don't smile, or they're very aware, they are playing in the energies. And so at that point in time, they're very well able to receive your energy from you. As they do that, as they start to get older, what happens with the conditioning? The parents will start to teach them things. They will start to teach them the ABC, the one, two, three. If you don't teach a child ABC, will it ever get around to learning it? Probably not. But will it learn the things that it needs to learn? Yes. Have you noticed that the babies copy you? They emulate you. If you sit in a certain way, and they will notice that, and you will find them sitting in that way without your having taught that, or eating in a certain way, the way that you eat, they will be copying you and following your instructions, which you might not even be teaching to them, but they're looking at you and emulating that. They're copying that, they're emulating that. So what happens over here? This comes from the knowing. What comes from you is knowledge. You are trying to teach the baby's knowledge because there is fear in you. He has to go to school, he has to do well, he's not going to get admission in a good school if he doesn't know this, and that. And then your fears, which are also being required by the baby. The babies come over here to take those experiences, and now it starts to resonate at your frequencies and forgets the unconditional love. And then a long circle of learning and knowledge and knowledge. And I tell to people that, the way that you've got to be to go back to the knowing, what do you have to do? You have to go back to being the baby that you were. You have to drop all of this knowledge that you've received in so many years. And the journey is actually to go back to being that 5 year old, and then to go back to being the 5 month old. So many people who know me and who meet me all the time, they kind of always laugh, saying, "Oh my God, you behave like a 5 year old." And I say, "Oh, thank God, I've at least made that transition from 52 to a 5 year old. I just have a small way left to go from the 5 year old to the 5 month old, so that I can completely feel that unconditional love for myself, because that's the place where we understand the Shivaness in ourselves. Before that, no matter what we do, there is always this slight judgment that we are holding for ourselves. In the morning session, I was just telling people, what if I was to tell you that you go and sit on somebody's lap and just pee? Would you be able to do that? Probably not, because there is so many judgments that will come to you as you are ready to, as you even think about this. Oh my God, how can I even do that? How can I even be that stupid or naive or such an idiot? The world is going to laugh at me. The world is not laughing at you, but you've already imagined the world laughing at you in your head. And so, therefore, that judgment will be projected. What happens a few years later? A few years later, by that I mean, let's say I'm 75, 80, 85, 90. Do they not say that, as you get back to as you get into your old age, you start to become a child again? And what happens when you pee at that time? Well, you just laugh it off, because that's how it is. You can't control it, and you are being that child back again. And yet, you do have judgments over there for yourself. Me telling you that you can release those judgments, what will happen? Will you pee all over the place? No, but you will be releasing those judgments for yourself, which are right now creating so many fears in you, and which are getting projected from from the inside to the outside. Everybody projects your judgments at you, and when you are not judging yourself, as a baby is not judging, so, as the baby is not judging itself, then you start to become that for yourself as well. And guess what happens around you? The judgments of people drop. What stops you from being the baby? It's the fears. It's the fears of what you have responsibilities on your head, you have duties that you're supposed to perform. What if I was to ask you today, all right, fine. How many of you would want to be that child again that you were? Many of you would raise your hands and say, yeah, I would like to be that carefree. I would love to have that childhood back. And then I say to you, all right, fine, then let today be the day. How about today you behave like a child and forget all your duties and responsibilities? And then what happens? Immediate fears. No, no, I mean, how can I do that? I have children at home. Who's going to feed them? I have work to do. I have to go to work. I have to do this. I have to do that. An entire laundry list will appear in front of you, which of course wasn't there when you were a child. So, what is it that you need to do? You need to let go of all of that burden of adulthood that you're carrying on your shoulders. It doesn't belong to you, because guess what? Yes, you're an adult at 1 million years old, 1 million plus 40 maybe, and your child is also 1 million plus 5. Now, when you actually calculate, 1 million and 1 million, and one is 5 and one is 40, do the math, it's not much difference between the two of you. You both are 1 million years old. Now I'm telling you, go be the child. You only have to travel now 35 or 40 years. And for some of you who are in your 20s, you have to travel a few years to get back to being that child. Let's see the common denominator being 1 million years old. And the child can still do it. Why can't you? And so, what is it that is needed from you? You need to release all those responsibilities that you think belong to you. You think so, and the child doesn't think so. And that's the only difference. The only difference is that of thought, because you don't have responsibility for anyone. On the day you decide to feed someone, sorry, if that person doesn't want to be fed by you, even that will not happen. It cannot happen. That person that you have to feed, you'll prepare this beautiful meal, and at the last minute something will happen. They'll have to get up from the meal and go away. And that's because though you took the responsibility to feed them, today is not the day that they are going to have this beautiful meal. So the responsibility of not even a meal belongs to your shoulders. And so you can let this whole fallacy, this whole program that you have, that you're responsible for the entire world, or at least you're responsible for those 5 people in your household, you can let that go. Everyone has their energy field. If they have to go hungry, they will. Now you're going to stop making dinners altogether, because you're like, okay, Meenal said so that I don't have to make meals at all. Well, you can actually be in this position, and something or someone will appear. But for that, what has to be complete? Your faith has to be complete. Your faith that indeed you are not responsible. You can't be having that guilt alongside that. No, no, I decided to be, not responsible because Meenal said so. And then here you are feeling this whole guilt. So, what do you have to release in the middle of all of that? You also have to release your guilt. So, as we go along, what is it that is stopping us? As I said, if I asked you to become a child for the entire day today, would you be able to manage that? If the answer is yes, then wonderful. Then how about 2 days at a stretch? How about 5 days at a stretch? So you will find that as you go more and more deeper into this faith, into this unconditional love for yourself, magically things do appear to happen all on their own. It is so beautiful because I see this at all times. I used to be this everybody's responsibility on my head. And I used to take care of people in my house, even as recently as about 6 months ago. Why? Because there are at least, at any point in time, there are sometimes 5 people living in my house, sometimes 10 people, and I have the responsibility, or I thought that I had the responsibility of those people on my head. The minute the lockdown happens and there are 8 people around to feed, I don't have to lift a finger. What happens? Even my maid, my maid said, can I get 3 people in? I have 2 cousins who've lost their jobs. Can I also call them in? And I said, sure. The house is always open to everybody who wants to come in. So you can call your people. Not all of her cousins came in, but one of them came in. And what's happening in my house? That everybody's like, oh, I have to do the dusting, I have to do the sweeping, blah, blah, blah. And in my house now, there are 2 people plus 3 kids, who I put to some work or something or the other. And I still have to raise not a finger. People simply appeared as I opened my heart. My heart is opened when I'm in faith, when I'm in complete faith that whoever is walking into my life is here just to receive and to give unconditional love to me. So, what is this? This is complete trust. Going back again to the child. When you were the child, did you know whom to trust and whom not to trust? No, you didn't. You were not conditioned that way. If somebody held you and played with you trusted them. And that is how being the child is, not feeling an iota of mistrust for anyone, as you believe that somebody has come only to play with you. That's all. There is nothing that I need to do for you tomorrow. Forget that. I don't even need to do anything for you in the next moment. You can drop me and you can go and do your work, and I will find something else to entertain myself when I am that little baby. Because at that point in time, you can give me anything to play with. I used to laugh because, when people buy such expensive toys for their kids and everything, and sometimes they'll say, I buy such expensive toys, and the only thing that she loves to play with is a katori and a spoon. And it's just so funny because who is valuing that expensive gift, that expensive toy? It's you. The child is not valuing that expensive toy. The child is valuing the entertainment. When you go for a holiday, do you value a foreign trip a lot more than you value, okay, we went out for 2 days, to the next town? The value is in your head. The child knows how to enjoy itself with whatever it has in its hands. So this value, this judgment is what needs to drop for you to be able to enjoy your eh, um, to be able to enjoy yourself as a child, to be able to give yourself love unconditionally. So the 2 or 3 things that we need to be able to operate as a child. Look at this. It's been a beautiful weather around. And as a child, what would you do if it was raining? Would you rush out and start to enjoy the rain? How expensive is the rain? Well, probably not much. And it rains and you go out and enjoy yourself. And what happens as you grow up? The first thing when it's raining outside, you look for an umbrella. You're looking to protect yourself because now no longer is the rain a source of joy for you. As a child, you have joy in everything. Whenever, my niece, my brother's daughter, it was so cute because we would be standing and on the road when there is absolutely nothing playing around, she would be holding her mother's hand and she would be dancing. And I looked at her and I said, where is the music playing? And the mother said, it's always playing in her head. And it's so cute because there was no music playing around. She didn't even need to have music. It was always playing in her head. And that's how we need to be, having the song and the dance play in our head at all times without fear, without shame, without judgment. When we judge ourselves as to what the others will think about us, if we are going to behave like a child and I'm 45 years old and I'm 25 years old, I'm supposed to be an adult. And if I start to behave so ridiculously, what are they going to think about me? Whatever they think is the second step. You have already thought all of it for yourself. And that's where the judgment comes in, and the judgment needs to drop. Am I asking you in the morning? I mentioned this as well. Am I asking you to go and pee on other people and poop on other people and be happy about it? Well, if you reach that stage, that would be absolutely awesome. But it's not about doing the action, it's about releasing the fears of the action. What is somebody going to think about me is what you got to release. As that fear goes away, you are going to receive more and more unconditional love from everybody around you, because that's what children receive. That's who they are till they get into this conditioned self, till they start to become you. And so that's why I even tell, the parents of children, that when a child is there, don't be in such a rush to teach them all the stuff that you know. Don't be in such a rush, because they'll learn whatever it is that they have come to learn from you. They'll learn even without you teaching. They'll learn whatever experiences they've come for. They'll learn. But right now, as they are the child, it's you who has to learn from them how to be more and more childlike. So you do the learning part while there's a teacher right in front of you to show you how to be unconditionally in love with yourself. Apart from that, yes, whether you teach them or you don't, if they have come to experience failure, you might be an actor, or maybe not. You might be the actor to give love, and you will always want to give love to them, but they might be the actor then to give you pain. Because what will happen as the rest of the world shows them failure, because of the attachment that you have with them, you will be sitting in a lot of pain, because they haven't, they are giving you pain, and you are supposedly giving them love. But it's not love, it's attachment. And attachment will always bring back hurt and pain. The day that you can be in the awareness of their energy field, and understand 1 million years, 1 million years. Experiences. No father, no child, no daughter, no son. Nothing, simply experiences of unconditional love when they were the baby. And then they grow up. You were the baby. And all of that you felt when you were the baby, I want you to go back to the times that you really enjoyed, the aspects of your being a child, whether it was receiving attention from a parent, or it was just simply being engrossed in your own little dream world. The children, I ask you, can you be like a child for an hour? Because what do you think that the child is thinking at the time that the child is simply looking at that, lying down, a baby of 6 months, and it's looking at that merry-go-round for hours on end? What do you think it's thinking? I don't have children. So, but it just keeps going round and round, and it keeps the child happy for 20 hours. It wakes up and you put that thing on, and the child is able to stay happy for hours and hours. What do you think the child is thinking? The child is thinking nothing. The child is blank. And how panicky we get. It's so funny, because so many people will call me and say, oh, I tried to get into guidance and I went completely blank. Oh my God, I don't know why I'm not getting answers. I need to get answers, but I just go completely blank. And I say, oh my God, blankness is the best answer. And where do you think a child operates from? Blankness, complete joy in the moment, in the now, nothing to worry about, no tomorrow, not even where the next meal is going to come from. The child doesn't care. The child knows that somehow when it lets out a wail, and that's it, the meal appears in a few minutes. How does it appear? It doesn't know. Does it care? It doesn't even care. It just knows that it is here. That's the kind of trust, that's the kind of faith that we want to have yet again. That every time we ask, wah, and then the meal should appear in front of us. And believe me, it does. I've done that, I've tried that, and I have to tell you this story because the lockdown was there, and all the shops were shut. And by now everybody knows my love for Bengali sweets. So Bengali sweet shops were shut as well. And here I was, I made some sweets by myself and all of that. And it was about 2.5 months into this whole lockdown when one day I opened my fridge and there was not a single sweet in my fridge. It doesn't happen, but on that particular day, not a single sweet. I was so upset with the universe. I simply, I was holding the fridge, like the fridge door, and I was getting so angry. At who? I'm getting angry not at the government for having a lockdown or for corona or no, no. Straight universe. How can you not have? How can you not? I want sweets, and how can you not have sweets for me? How dare you do this to me? So after that, I was like, okay, all in perfection. This is what I normally do. So I said to myself, okay, all in perfection. I picked up a bowl of yogurt and I put some honey in it, and I had that, but I was not at all happy. I had it. I said, okay, this is all in perfection, telling myself, okay, universe is playing in my favor by not giving me sweet. At 3 o'clock that day, my landlady, who all we lovingly know as Grampy, so Grampy comes in, and there were no sweet Bengals open in Bandra, but somehow this thought occurred to her at 3 in the afternoon that she should try for sweet Bengal in Powai. It was open. Sweet Bengal in Powai was open. She arranged for a courier and a friend to go pick up that Sweet Bengal's mithai and bring it to her house, and a courier to deliver. And suddenly at 6 o'clock in that evening, I have 3 dozen kheer kodams. So it was so hilarious because I didn't ask for it. I just went out with wah. But now, because I was aware, I said to myself, okay, okay, fine, then, this is playing out in my favor and all of that. And then I forgot about it. I just forgot, because this is how you do the moment of now. You don't carry it from one moment to another and then start to feel the lack. The child doesn't do that. It's very easy for you to divert the child's attention, and then it'll come back to it again and momentarily. And then, but it knows, it has this trust that a meal will appear, and therefore it does. And so that's, the mother will appear from nowhere, whether she has had her food or not. The child's meal is there with her. So that's how we say, we have to, if we want to be a child, what's the first and foremost thing that we have to do? We have to release judgments for ourselves. And the second thing is to build that trust that we are the child of the universe. We are all children of the universe, and we are taken care of. And the mother will come and take care of us. When we are fully sitting in that belief, when we fully understand that without fear, because what we get this thought, and then what happens, and then there's a fear that comes rushing in. When we are able to look at that fear and to release the fear, saying, okay, you came in, but I'm no longer playing in fear. I'm going to play in the abundance. As you do that, then what will happen? The universe will become that mother that will bring to you whatever is needed in that moment. Is 1 million rupees needed in that moment? Probably not. But is a meal needed in that moment? Probably yes. Is there something else that's come up that needs to be done with money? Probably yes. So that is what is going to come to you. I normally always tell people, when you're thinking of savings and investments, what is it that you are doing? You're coming from pure fear. When the child is looking, it's not investing and it's not saving. Definitely not saving mother's milk. Saying, okay, I need this for the afternoon as well. Maybe I should save some of it and then not drink as much as I want because I will feel hungry later. Does not happen. The child is going to play in the now and do whatever it needs now. And it knows that the next time it will appear when it is needed. And the needs are so limited. What makes them happy? What makes a child happy? You show a child $1 million, going to make him happy? I don't think so. I think if you left him over there for a few minutes, it might even pee on those $1 million. But what makes him happy is something that is a play. It's just in that moment, and it doesn't have to have value. It doesn't have to have material value. An interaction with you will make your child happy. And so, similarly, as we sit in this frequency, understanding the oneness between all of us is what makes us happy. And we got to go back to that oneness again, to that lack of judgment once again. And that's the journey. So, whatever fears that you are feeling, ask this question to yourself: am I ready to be a child today? In the now, am I ready to be a child? And if the answer is yes, then go ahead, do it. If the answer is no, then as I always say, it's not for you to do the action first, but it's for you to release the fears first, to release the judgments, and to come into a little bit more faith. And then go out and have a shower in the rains. You will enjoy it, but without the fear that, oh God, no, this rainwater is so polluted and it's so dirty and it gives me a cold always. Well, if that's your fear, then you need to release fears first before you jump into the action. Release your fears, start to work. I've been working on making myself 5 years old for a very long time. And so, even, right now, and sometimes people fight with me. When I say people, the 1 crore 5-year-old children, when they fight with me, I am fighting with them at the level of a 5-year-old. I never nowadays come from the level of an adult who needs to keep a child happy. There is no adult, there is no child. But now that I've removed those layers of, no, I need to be an adult, I need to teach them something. I need to teach them how to be this and how to be that, and I must be a role model. Nothing of that sort. I fight with a 5-year-old as a 5-year-old. I fight with a 20-year-old as a 5-year-old. So I'm always going to win, because when you are trying to argue with a 5-year-old, most of the times, who gets to win? The 5-year-old. I will be throwing all kinds of tantrums, because guess who gets to win? Who will get ashamed of the tantrums? Not the child. It'll be the parent that gets ashamed of the tantrums, and then the child receives whatever it has to receive. So, who's the child? Me. Who's the mother? The universe. And I throw tantrums and I receive. And if you want to be that child, well, here it is. Release the judgment that you are the adult. You are not. You are simply the child, and the universe is the father and the mother. And so be in that awareness and enjoy. Enjoy being a child forever. Just taking a deep breath in, and let's see what comes up for the meditation today. Take a deep breath in and a breath out. And tapping your forehead. I'm the frequency of Meenal. I'm the frequency of Meenal. I'm the frequency of Meenal. And allowing yourself to receive these beautiful frequencies, these childlike frequencies that give you so much of masti, so much of joy, and take you into this journey of abundance. And as you deep breathe once more, you can let this energy move from the forehead to your mouth, and pay attention to your mouth as it makes a nice, beautiful smile. There's a smile on your face as you're able to experience the childlike, complete freedom from all your responsibilities and be totally a child, 2 years old, maybe 2.5, going back to the place where you were that beautiful child 2 years old, and enjoying the entire world, the whole universe moving around you. I want you to take your attention to the heart and experience that unconditional love that you felt for yourself when you were that 2 years old. Understanding in that moment that you are Shiva. You are the most important person in your life. Everything else around you revolves for your joy, to give you joy. And carrying a smile on your face and this joy in your heart, I want you to imagine a beautiful butterfly. This beautiful butterfly that is fluttering around you. And you are 2 years old. And you suddenly find this beautiful butterfly. It's right next to you, sometimes sitting on your hands, sometimes sitting on your legs. On your face, it moves now. And you're amazed at this butterfly. It's so beautiful. And you're laughing and giggling as you watch this butterfly. This thing of beauty that's fluttering around you. And now, as the 2-year-old, you move your hand to grab it. And you grab the butterfly. And you don't know what it is. And before you know it, you squished it. And you laugh. You just simply laugh. So much joy and seeing this beautiful butterfly. And the joy still remains, though the butterfly no longer remains. You in the state of masti, simply exploring and experiencing the world from the eyes of this 2-year-old. There's nothing to do but to explore, nothing to feel but to constantly be in amazement. You're amazed at everything, all that is around you, and you feel no guilt, no sorry, no fear, nothing at all, but joy. You don't judge yourself. You're simply sitting in joy. Understanding that this joy is yours, no matter what you do, this deed or another, killing a butterfly or letting it fly. Simply joy in your heart. Om Mani. So, how many people today were able to kill the butterfly right now? See, you judged yourself. You judged yourself and you judged the life and you judged death and you judged and judged and judged. As a child, 2 years old, if you got the butterfly, would you judge yourself if one got killed? If you squished it, would you judge it? No, because when I so I always tell people, and stories and stories happen around me. So money comes to me as a butterfly. I almost ate it too. I can't tell you, Vinita, it was in my mouth to say that the child squishes the butterfly and puts it in its mouth. And I stopped myself. It was so funny because that was the next thing that came, that here comes the child holds the butterfly, squishes the butterfly. And what will the child do next? Something is interesting. What will the child do next? Ah, that's it. Any judgments? Absolutely not. And so, if you're sitting in judgment of life and death, to understand that everything is energy. When the form is finished, what happens? There is energy in that form, and it simply escapes and becomes energy around us. So, there is the butterfly, and then when the butterfly is dead, what has happened to the butterfly? Well, now it's simply a piece of paper that those wings of the butterfly, the minute it loses its life, oh my God, they become such beautiful pieces of paper. And then with that piece of paper, but where is the energy gone? The energy is all around us. Is the energy dead? Absolutely not. So how silly are we to think that if we killed something, because we are killing everything in the minute we open our mouth, right? I mean, there are microorganisms and microorganisms that we are killing. And then we take antiviral and antibacterial drugs. What do you think those drugs are doing? Oh my God, they're killing the poor virus. And then we've got, these disinfectants. What are we doing? Oh my God, we're killing so many different things in a minute. And then over here, can't, can't kill the butterfly. So funny we are. Perfect. So now understanding that, yes, as a child, when we are connected to the energy as a child, then we don't judge. We don't judge life. We don't judge death. And we are happy. Have you not seen children pick up ants from the floor and eat them? Oh, they love that. Best meals ever. But, that's how it is. They don't judge something to be walking, and whatever it's interesting, it should be eaten. No judgment. So that's how a child's life is. No, you don't have to start eating ants or butterflies, but all you have to do is to be able to release your judgments of life and death, to be able to release your judgment of right and wrong, to be able to release your judgment of good and bad, and simply enjoy every moment for what it is. Not make associations with the next moment, and simply stay in the now and enjoy the now. Let the worries simply move away from you, flutter away as a butterfly. So that's the session for today. I think we are pretty much done done with the session for today. Okay, then. Lovely. So thank you so much, people, for being here, and may all your worries just fly out like the little butterflies, and may you just simply squish some of them too. And that's my prayer for you today. Lots of love to everyone. You all, thank you so much for being here. Lots of love. Bye.